There is a massive twist in the cash for questions row as Union Minister for State for Information Technology Rajeev Chandrasekhar has dropped a bombshell saying that TMC MP Mahua Moitra's language on a question about reports of a government ban on 54 apps was identical to that of the businessman. He tweeted and said, and I'm quoting him, language used in PQ, which is the parliamentary question, is very similar, linking need for data localization to data breaches to that used when the head of this company met me. I'm not aware or privy to the full facts or background on this, but if it is true, then it is a terrible travesty and misuse of PQs. The MP in question, that is Mahua Moitra, issued a strong denial to the IT minister's allegation, saying that her intelligence should not be insulted. 24 hours after writing a letter to Lok Sabha Speaker, BJP MP Nishikant Dubey shot off another letter, this time to IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw, requesting him to investigate the IP address of Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra's Lok Sabha login credentials. In the letter addressed to Ashwini Vaishnaw and also to Rajeev Chandrasekhar, Nishikant Dubey said that the allegations made against Moitra were presented in front of the CBI by advocate Jai Dehadri. In his affidavit, remember, before the CBI, Jai Dehadri has accused Mahua Moitra of taking bribes from Darshan Hiranandani to ask questions in Parliament. The Adani Group today issued a statement saying that some groups, individuals are working overtime to harm our name, goodwill and market standing. There was another twist today that came in with Mahua Moitra tweeting that all parliamentary work of MPs is done by PAs, assistants, interns and large teams, and requested the IT minister to release details of the location and login details of all MPs with CDRs. This was in response to the letter that was written by Nishikant Dubey. That brings us to the big questions that I'm asking on the show tonight. Has the IT minister's tweet on identical language of the MP and the corporate house given a new twist in this case? Can MPs misuse their parliamentary privileges for vested business interests as alleged? Will the Speaker's office set up an inquiry committee on the lines of 2005 Cash for Questions case, or will the Parliament's Ethics Committee now investigate? And what about that complaint that is before the CBI of Jai Dehadri? What will be CBI's next move is we ask. And why are the India parties silent over these big allegations? Let me bring in my guests now. Shubhabrata Bhattacharya is a senior journalist, Vivek Agnihotri, former Secretary General of Rajya Sabha. We have Vishwajit Bhattacharya here in the studio. He is the former Additional Solicitor General of India. And Jitin Jain is cybersecurity expert. Jitin, beginning with you, let's look at the big news point today, which is the IT minister's tweet. He is saying the language is identical. Now, there is a letter that has been written by Nishikant Dubey, who says that IP address of Mahua Moitra must be investigated. To this, Mahua Moitra says that PA assistants, interns and large teams put out those details. So the question now is, in which direction is the investigation headed?
Now, see, on the particular point you are raising, it is true that almost all government servants, bureaucrats, parliamentarians do give their credentials to their personal staff, but it is usually the private secretary or personal secretary. You don't distribute your login details to a large set of people, as Ms. Mahua is claiming. Now, if she gave, certain details of her parliamentary access to her personal staff, which was accessing on her instructions, I think that could also be verified by asking the CDR details, which will give the tower location of her PA and her own, personal mobile phone, and then match it with the IP addresses which have been used to access her parliamentary account. If there is a mismatch, then there is a third unauthorized person which was likely using her account. That could be as claimed by, someone from a particular business house, as claimed by Mr. Nishikant Dubey or some other corporate house. But that is for Ms. Mahua Moitra to answer. But I think there is a bigger issue here. You must understand the context. Hiranandani Group is now a very big emerging player in data center industry. India's data center market is going to double by 2025. Now, there is also another context that after the Galwan conflict, the government of India had banned Chinese apps, and there has been a consistent government of India's view that India needs to have a data localization policy. We need to have a data sovereignty policy in place, and people have been pushing, including us, for data sovereignty, data localization. Now, I think one of the another biggest player in this data center industry is Adani Group, which has been one of the very key leading players. It appears that maybe Ms. Mahua Mitra, which is an allegation, that this particular group thought that banning Chinese apps was an apt opportunity to pressurize government of India to bring in the early introduction of data localization policy, and the entire policy benefits or that emerging market should go to a particular group, not to the entire industry. In this case, because Ms. Mahua Mitra has been raising a lot of questions against Adani Group, and now there is an allegation that she was trying to benefit the business interest of Hiranandani. I think there was a data center war where a particular business group by Mr. Hiranandani's entities were trying to corner all the benefits, and at the same time she was targeting Adani Group. Now, third, I think taking bribes to ensure that the emerging policy and the entire benefits of a policy is cornered by one business house is a very serious charge. Now, that can only be investigated by doing three simple things. A, seek all the IP address logging details from where all Ms. Mahua Mitra's account was exist. Ask her for a list of people whom she had given a list of her, her credentials and passwords. Ask the, CDR locations, the tower locations of mobile phone of all these people. Now, once we have these two data in place in front of Lok Sabha Speaker, he can easily figure out whether there was another party which was not authorized or which was out of Ms. Mahua Mitra's personal staff, which was losing her account.
Let's focus on investigation and what has happened in the last 24 hours. Vivek Agnihotri, come in on this. A letter which has been sent to the Lok Sabha Speaker, Om Birla. The Secretariat is saying that they are looking into it. We have seen what has happened in 2005 Cash for Questions case. There was a committee which was set up under Pawan Kumar Bansal then, and in record 23 days, those MPs of the Lok Sabha, around 10 of them were suspended. In this particular case, will it be the ethics committee, or are you of the opinion that there should be a separate committee which should be constituted?
First thing, they were not just suspended, they were suspended for the period of inquiry, but after that they were expelled.
That's right.
Expelled. Number two, there has to be established a quid pro quo, that for doing something, for a business house something, you get paid. Whether in whatever shape. It could be just hospitality or gift or some cash or whatever. So a quid pro quo has to be established, which was very clearly established in that 2005 case, because there was a TV footage actually showing the cash being given and the questions linking to the questions that were going to be asked or raising other matters. So these are two very important matters before anything happens. But as you rightly said, the matter is before the speaker, and a speaker has to decide whether to refer this to a committee, which could be what is called normally ethics committee, which looks into the matters relating to integrity and misconduct of the members of parliament. Then the ethics committee will deliberate and give recommendations, which will be placed before the House. And House will then vote on the recommendations of the committee regarding what punishment or has to be given, if at all, or whether they have to be exonerated. And that is how the matter will proceed further.
Okay. Coming on this, Biswadit Bhattacharya, there is a list of do's and don'ts for the MPs. And MPs have to declare business interests when sworn in. Register of members' interests have to be maintained. There is a clarity that you can't take fee or favors for putting a question or abstaining. And here in this particular case, as far as the allegations go, as far as the allegations that have been made by Jay Dehadri is that he has been privy to these meetings in which there was dossier that was given by the private secretary of Mr. Hiranandani to Mahua Moitra against Gautam Adani. And that is the reason why, if you look at the statement that has come from Gautam Adani, or, the Adani group, they are also saying it very clearly that, they have been talking about it, and that this is a larger, some groups and individuals have been working overtime to harm their name.
Madam, the entire allegations pertain to the period from 2018 to 2023, 5 years.
19 to 23.
19 to 23, 4 years. Now, the whole thing shoots up when there is a failure of reconciliation between the member of parliament and the lawyer who were earlier friends. And 2 police complaints were made in Barakhamba Road. I have gone through the entire set of papers. You have been very gracious enough. I have come here fully prepared. I don't go otherwise either to the court or to the studio. Now, on 25th of March this year and 23rd of September this year, 2 police complaints were lodged against this particular lawyer by the member of parliament. It was basically, matter was settled on 4th of October. The complaints were withdrawn, and then within a span of 10 days, from 4th October to 14th October, this entire voluminous report, which is impossible to prepare in 10 days. One complaint is filed before the Central Bureau of Investigation on 14th October, Saturday, means day before yesterday. Another complaint was given to the particular gentleman who is the member of parliament. And to the member of parliament, allegations were levelled that this in fact is an attack by the person concerned to the a very big industrial group and to the highest political executive of the country. That was on Sunday, and on Monday, today itself, the member of parliament concerned, against whose all allegations have been levelled for 4 years, gives a comprehensive legal notice to all the newspapers and journals, including the member of parliament who is from a different political party, and also to the lawyer. My simple question is, I mean, this is one allegation and a very comprehensive denial by the other side. How can it be called offence as yet? It may or may not be, I don't know. Secondly, I mean, how a top political executive being friendly with an industrial house itself amounts to attacking?
Okay,
you see, I may be friendly with you, I may be friendly with X, Y and Z, but until and unless there is something hanky-panky.
Let me bring in Subhabrata
this
Bhattacharya on this specific point that has been made. You know, Subhabrata Bhattacharya, if we look at the developments of today, and you and I were discussing this case even yesterday, that there are corporate rivalry, but then the role of MPs become important here. You know, can you use your office allegedly and give that kind of access to a business house? That business house is a rival of another business house. You have vested interest, and that breach of privilege is there clearly here.
Well, Maria, the thing is that the privileges of parliament have been trampled upon, literally. And Mr. Bhattacharya, a very senior lawyer of repute, has pointed out the intricacies of the case. The fact is that this gentleman, Mr. Dehad Rai, has sworn an affidavit and complained to CBI. It's a sworn affidavit on which he has made a complaint. And the conduct of Ms. Moitra has been also questioned within Trinamool Congress over the last few months. Excepting for Mr. Sanjay Raut of Shiv Sena UBT, nobody in the opposition today has stood by her. I was hoping that Mamata Banerjee was busy the whole day inaugurating Durga Puja pandals virtually in Calcutta, would have something to say on this. Or very eminent editor of Calcutta, Kunal Ghosh, who is the official spokesman of Trinamool, would have something to say. Or Mr. Derek O'Brien, who is a very articulate member of parliament and a great intellectual. I was expecting to hear from him. I have not heard from any of them. While researching this issue, I stumbled upon a few facts which, if you permit me, I'd like to share with you. In July this year and in September, Mamata had to upbraid Mahua. In the first instance, she was interfering in the work of other MPs of the party. So she was told very clearly that stick to your area. And later, when she made those comments on Kali, saying that the goddess is a meat-eating and alcohol-drinking entity, Mamata's quotation, which I picked up from ANI news agency, said she advised Mahua, negativity affects our brain cells, so let us think positively. Today, in response to Mr. Chandrasekhar, Mahua Moitra, who is a very highly educated lady and an effective parliamentarian at times, has said that please don't question my intelligence. Nobody should question anybody's intelligence. The fact is that her party's leader had said that negativity affects our brain cells, so let's think positively. I don't think this advice has been taken seriously by Mahua at any stage in the last couple of months.
But the larger question is also of the corporate rivalry.
Maria.
Yes, Jitin, come in.
Maria, there is also a point we are missing. The public stand of Trinamool Congress and almost all India Alliance parties was Modi ji ka 56-inch ka hai, this 56 app ban is a cosmetic exercise, you're not doing anything against China. Intent of question is that you have rightly banned 56 apps, why are you not banning more on the same policy, and please have a data localization policy in place. So the public stand on a particular policy and the questions she has been asking are absolutely in contradiction with each other. That also reflects something is going behind the scenes, and those questions were not in line with our opinions of our own political party.
Okay, that's a point that you have made. But looking at what can the CBI do, Vivek Agnihotri, come in on this. I'm trying to understand again, going back into 2005 case where of course there was the sting operation which got that kind of evidence in public domain. In this particular case, it is an allegation, and also let's not forget that there is someone who has been very close to her, is also the witness in this case. Do you think the Speaker's office will begin the probe, or will the Speaker's office be waiting for what the CBI will be saying?
There have been a couple of cases where the MPs have violated the law of the land and not just the privileges of the House. And I can cite two cases. In one case, the MP was allotted a government vehicle out of government quota long ago, when cars used to be available only on quota from government. So he was given a car from the government quota and he sold it. Now that was naturally a violation of the law, and therefore the case was filed in a court of justice, and the MP was fined. But the Parliament took a lenient view of this case and did not, just reprimanded the MP and said that this is not done. In another case, an MP used his wife's passport to take another lady abroad. Now, in this case also, there was violation of the IPC and the Passport Act. And therefore, cases were filed against the MP under these two acts, and the MP was jailed. So the Speaker waited. And when the MP was released on bail, then the inquiry committee was set up and the MP was expelled.
Let me bring in Biswadit Bhattacharya again here. Biswadit Bhattacharya, the Parliament is very clear as far as the code of conduct of MPs is concerned. There is also Mr. Jay Dehadri's petition, or should I say affidavit, which is before the CBI. The CBI, of course, will be looking into it. As far as investigations go, where do you think the investigations are headed?
You see, Central Bureau of Investigation, having received the complaint of this particular lawyer, will have no option but to look into it. But as I told you, madam, only the complaint itself, spanning various questions, all the 51 questions with facts and circumstances in a tabulated form. I mean, it will not be easy for the Central Bureau of Investigation even to prima facie have a view, because this is a bold allegation. There is not even an iota of evidence except for the fact that, I heard, I was present, and I will assist the investigation. If you carefully go through the complaint dated 14th October, the last sentence read, I will assist the investigation. So therefore, I mean, this is rather extraordinary. The complainant is filing such a serious complaint against someone. Of course, the complaints are very, very serious and nobody can dispute about it. Of course, the parliamentary sanctity and righteousness will have to be maintained. But it is rather extraordinary. The chain of circumstances from 4th of October to the 14th of October gives a somewhat question mark about the whole thing. And when suddenly to the Central Bureau of Investigation, the complaint does not name the Prime Minister or Home Minister, but on the same day before yesterday, the Saturday, the complainant write, this is a direct attack on the Prime Minister and Home Minister. I mean, these are two contradictory. Either you have committed some alleged offence which has been contradicted convincingly, or first of all, Parliament will have to take a call under parliamentary rules, under the sovereignty of the Parliament within the Parliament. Parliament is sovereign within its own function. We will have to take a call whether this can, whether when the complainant has gone to CBI and Parliament both, whether it is blowing hot and blowing cold, and whether it is basically spoiling its own case.
Okay. Let me give the final word now to Jitin Jain and also to Subhabrata Bhattacharya. Subhabrata Bhattacharya, of course, the questions that you asked as to why we haven't heard from the TMC, we haven't heard from any of the India parties as well. In recent times, they were holding a number of press conferences, every time something came out. And then, when it is about this very serious allegation of Mahua Moitra, somebody has to explain. It's about a member of parliament, after all.
Very true. And therefore, the deafening silence from Trinamool Congress is astounding. In the presence of a very eminent lawyer, may I suggest that in place of, if I had been in this place, in the place of Mahua Moitra, instead of sending a legal notice, which has got no feet because it is just a notice, it is no action at all, I would have relied upon Section 500 IPC and filed a criminal defamation straight away in a police station which has got jurisdiction. And as far as the CBI is concerned, fortunately, the incidents mentioned in the affidavit and the complaint have all occurred in the National Capital Territory of Delhi. So therefore, no Section 6 sanction from any state government or denial thereof is involved.
Okay. Jitin, quickly, because I'm looking at this letter that has been written by Nishikant Dubey to Ashwini Vaishnaw and Rajeev Chandrasekhar, it makes an important point and I want you to explain this for our viewers. It says that access to the Lok Sabha site might provide sensitive, possibly classified information, and unauthorized access risks exposure of strategic data. And it is about compromising the larger issue of India's, cyber security.
I think he is coming from a point that if she's sharing her credentials with vast number of people, as she's already admitted that I've been sharing my credentials with vast number of people, and all of them may not have been security vetted. Now, also there is another point that it is not only about giving her credential just to type questions or receive some emails. I think she was a member of many standing committees, and especially the standing committee on IT, and almost all the deliberation of standing committees are not made public. Some of, there are classified briefings, there are classified presentations. So I think there is a issue of sensitive information being landing in unauthorized hands and maybe passing over. But I think the bigger issue here of Mahua is claiming that even if she had given, I mean, let's for a fact admit or accept that her vast amount of people who are researchers or personal staff may have access to her emails. This is a case where her office has access to her email printouts or they take printouts. What Mr. Nishikant Dubey is alleging that her IP address details should be figured out so that Lok Sabha Speaker can figure out from how many locations, how many different cities her accounts were accessed. So all her research staff and personal staff would have been in Calcutta or Delhi, but if her account was accessed from Singapore or Bombay or Bangalore, I think then there is a much serious question. And to the last point, I don't think in my little knowledge that Parliament of India's website is a propriety of Lok Sabha. And I think only Lok Sabha Speaker can dig out the data, not an individual minister like Mr. Vaishnaw or Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Okay, fine.
I think it's better that if Lok Sabha Speaker handles the probe and maybe a committee is formed or something like that, because there are many other issues which I think which are better handled by the Lok Sabha Speaker, because it is about the Lok Sabha website, not some other government website.
All right. Thank you so much for explaining that to us. Jitin Jain, Vishwajit Bhattacharya here in the studio, Vivek Agnihotri and Subhabrata Bhattacharya. That's all from me. A story we'll continue to track very, very closely. Thanks so much for watching.